Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the weekly twin astrology forecast for the Twin Flame Collective for the week ahead. We've got some big energies, guys. We are headed into eclipse season, and so we have this very powerful new moon in Scorpio. It is a partial solar eclipse at 2 degrees, and so I think we're in for a very challenging week ahead of energies. And so I just want to remind everybody, we did sign up for this. We agreed to allow these soul contracts to play out, and so the energies are getting quite intense. It's the energy of the mask falling off, and I do feel the masculine twin is under a lot of pressure this week when it comes to rising into these higher states of conscious awareness. And so I do feel some very intense cosmic energies for the week ahead. We also have this powerful Venus energy fueling this new moon eclipse in Scorpio. And so I think we're in for some drastic upheaval, some changes. Eclipses come in to kind of eclipse anything out of your journey that's not serving your higher purpose, these higher timelines. And so I feel the masculines are gearing up for a long, dark winter of the dark night of the soul. And we do need to remember, we also had Saturn that just stationed direct on the weekend. And on this Sunday coming up, we do have Mars entering into a 5-month period of retrograde energy. And so all of this recalibration, all of this cosmic stirring of the shit pot has already kind of began, especially for the masculine twin. So I think big shakeups for the divine masculine. And so we are officially in Scorpio season. We have Venus as well in Scorpio, and we will also have Mercury joining the scorpionic energy later this week. I believe it is on Saturday, the day before Mars stations retrograde in the sign of the twins. And so we're all going deep into these scorpionic realms of the underworld and transforming our inner world. And so with Saturn stationing direct, I feel we're kind of off to a little bit of a rocky start. And so I don't think the energy is feeling very flowing or easy at this point in time. And so all of this intensity that's been building like this pressure cooker is in preparation for this new moon eclipse tomorrow. And so by the end of the week, when Mars stations retrograde, there's going to be a massive process of change when it comes to our internal processing and our beliefs, our spiritual beliefs. And so it's like this energy of stirring the cosmic shit pot. And so I do feel this truly is a peak period for the twin flame connections. We're in this powerful gateway of change, transformation, and all of these eclipse energies are tied directly to our personal one-on-one relationships and love. And so we've already been feeling this. I know for myself, it's been feeling a little bit foggy and unclear, almost like working through some very higher energies, but foggy. And so I know for me, it started last weekend. And so I do feel all of these old subconscious beliefs and limitations and all of these negative relationship patterns have kind of been stirred up to the surface in order for us to release these old, outdated perceptions of self. And so even my oldest daughter's been in the thick of it is another message. So we have a whole slew of younger generations like teens, pre-teens, who all have like their Pluto and Capricorn. And so these younger generations are going through this internal transformation as well. And so we are the way showers for the younger generations. And so what I kept hearing was waking the sleeping lion. It's time to wake the sleeping lions. It is time for the unawakened twin to wake up. So the runner twin, the twin that's been running from facing that mirror, I feel is going to get a major wake-up call in the energies this week. And with the Sun and Venus kind of working together as a team, what I kept hearing is, I want to be your A-team. And so I do feel this eclipse is hitting very hard when it comes to closing out these karmic relationship cycles. And so in order to do this, though, we have to shift our own perception of self, and we have to know our worth and our value, and that we are worthy of unconditional love, that we are worthy of a reciprocal romantic partner in our lives. And so eclipses always deal with endings. And so what we're doing right now is we're closing out that Taurus North Node energy. And so this eclipse is kind of activating the South Node scorpionic energy to surface, which is going to bring forward very powerful karmic endings, which will lead to a new beginning. But we do have to release these old versions of self first. And so we're kind of in the precipice of this new higher timeline, shifting into this new beginning. But where do we need to release love and relationships from these lower vibrations? And so there's always going to be challenges with eclipse energies. And these eclipse energies usually play out over the course of the next 6 months. And so we're going to be in the thick of it, I feel, until we get into Taurus season in 2023. And so there's going to be all kinds of deeply triggering dramatic events and shakeups taking place that will be very unpleasant. But we usually don't change unless we're shaken up. So it's like this energy of a snow globe getting shaken, shaken, shaken in order to redirect us towards our true destiny. And so the universe is pushing us all as a collective to release these outworn relationships. What in your life no longer is serving a purpose? Because if you're not willing to release it once and for all, the universe is going to have to come in and rip it right out from under your feet so we can reach our highest potential at the soul level. And so there's been a lot of things already being released. And all of this, I feel, is highlighting where we have been overly self-critical of, who we are. And this allows us to get easily manipulated by these toxic people, and we can't thrive, right? And so we are addressing all of these old toxic habits, whether it's drinking, smoking, overeating, where you've been underselling your highest potential, where you've been undervaluing yourself, where you kind of know that you should be doing better, right? But ignoring that inner stirring. And so I feel a lot is happening when it comes to releasing all of these outworn people, places, could be a job loss, anything that we need to let go of for our own good, whether we want to release it or not. Things are being removed. And so there's going to be like this deep inner stirring of turmoil, because it's the energy of the ego is saying, no, 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 hold on to this. And the heart is saying, but I have to let go. I have to let go so I can make space for something better to enter into my life. And so I feel this is like an amplified eclipse energy coming in. And so the universe really is showing us what's not working. We're kind of all being pushed into our karmic purpose, our karmic pathway this lifetime. So what is it that you need to release once and for all to reach these higher states of unity, consciousness, of love, and calling in that right harmonic relationship, that right romantic partnership? And so a lot of unconscious beliefs, a lot of unconscious feelings, and all of these undercurrents are coming to the surface in order to make us aware of these deeply seated self-worth issues. It does always come down to self-worth. Why do you keep playing into these survival patterns? We're not here to survive, we're here to thrive. And so we kind of got to release these old survival patterns rooted in these unhealthy childhood beliefs. And we have to be willing to open up to the love that we truly desire. But in order to do that, we have to release the masks, anything that keeps us from stepping into our most authentic essence. And so a lot of masks are coming off. And so this is going to be really tricky, because as the masks fall, we're triggered into all of these old experiences again in order to really see these unhealthy patterns and cycles so they can come up for clearing. And so, we always have the option to opt out of not going into these higher timelines, but these cosmic energies are pushing for the release of these past timelines once and for all, so we can reach unity consciousness. So I do feel a massive collective recalibration for the masculines, and we are going into a collective dark night of the soul, I feel, after this eclipse, in order for us to arise as the phoenix. And so divine feminine, you too will be going through an internal transformation with your own inner masculine. So it doesn't matter if you have your Mars in Gemini or not. My Venus is actually in Gemini and my Mars is in Leo. So I'm recalibrating my career over the next several months. So my Mars is in Leo. And my Mars also falls in my 6th house of Leo, which is career and health. And so a reevaluation of health, heart health, career, how I want to approach the channel moving forward, because I'm here to kind of teach people how to be heart-centered in their lives moving forward. And so another reevaluation, it's like this exiting the old self, and our old versions of self kind of have to die away, and it does. It feels like death. When we go through this awakening process and this transformation, it feels like death. And so this Mars retrograde is going to be the dying away of the old, so the new authentic self can emerge in these higher states. And so I don't feel this entire transformation process will be complete until next spring. And so right now it's not really about action in our physical reality. It is about an inner reevaluation, an inner revolution, evolution at a deep soul level. And so this truly is a brand new beginning, and where we can embrace these positive changes. But we do have to be willing to go into the shadow self, to look at the darkness, and to release all of these blockages. So many times we create these blockages unintentionally. And so I feel we're all being invited to open up to a brand new cycle in love, and to really understand that everybody that treats you badly is a reflection of your self-worth and your self-value. And so what are you being asked to release, I think, is what we really need to sit in. And so there might be underlying emotions of resentment, bitterness, hurt and pain that maybe you didn't even realize were all gunked up in your system that need to be released, because our physical body holds on to these cellular memories from the past, and they do affect our perceptions in our current life. And so we do have to kind of sit there and ask ourselves, are we open to allowing love in? Because somebody might be showing up, somebody very much unexpected, and it might be different than who you thought your actual counterpart was. And so I do want you to be prepared for the unexpected. When I say get prepared for a reconciliation or a reunion, so many times we envision this specific person, and we can't manifest a specific person. We can manifest that intention, right? And so people might be coming back from the past that you least expected. And so I just recently went into a reconciliation, a reunion with somebody from over 22 years ago. And let me just say, this person is aligned with my energies. It's a very high vibration match, and it was something that I was not expecting at all. And it kind of just hit me. And so I've had to sit with that over the weekend. Am I ready to allow love in again after all of the soul work I've done over the last 4 years on this awakening journey? And so are you ready for that ideal partnership to show up? Are you in your most powerful self's energy? Are you ready to receive everything that you are deserving of? So I think, I've had to sit with that. That might be something that you need to sit with. And so where are you still holding on to this energy of I'm not worthy, or I'm not able to move beyond? And so I feel all of these masks of who we were told we needed to be are stripping away, so we can release all of these protection mechanisms that we use, these coping mechanisms. And I know it sounds easier than it is, because we have these habitual patterns that we formed as children as part of our survival in our energy field. And so I think this scorpionic energy is getting us to go really deep into the unconscious in order to harmonize with our own inner masculine and feminine energies. And so I also felt this very primal sacral urge. And so that might be an issue that you need to face right now, this primal self, right? And so many times our primal instincts will override what we know is best for us, and then this can lead to going down the pathway of temptation. And so get ready to face your shadow self over the coming week, and to realize that maybe you've been deflecting love this whole time when it comes to what you truly desire, because you've had a certain vision in your mind of what it's supposed to be, and somebody totally unexpected might show up on your path. And so you know, I do feel any new relationships formed during this Mars retrograde period will be safe. It will be a safe space as we release all of these old coping mechanisms. And so until we fully allow ourselves to release the past and all of the feelings attached to these past hurts and all of these fears, we're going to be hanging on to all of these unconscious beliefs. And so we do have to truly believe in who we are and release everything that's no longer serving us. And so I also feel there's going to be some kind of exposure in the energies this week when it comes to maybe a friend that's really not on your side, a frenemy of some sort. And so likely somebody that, you know, serves as a mirror to get you to go into your deeper shadow self. So I feel a lot of the masculines are dealing with a karmic friend or a karmic catalyst still that is really instilling fear and shame when it comes to staying stuck, which is going to trigger a slew of angry outbursts is what I'm feeling. And although this person might feel like a friend or somebody that you're deeply connected with, this person is of danger, and you kind of need to stay away from this person. And you might not know this, but anger and fear is one of the biggest deflections when it comes to manifesting love. And so right now I feel this very powerful push-pull dynamic going on in the masculine twin in order to integrate all of these aspects of self from all of these fragmented timelines is what I'm feeling. And so right now I feel the feminine is really needing to stay grounded in the present moment. Really lean into the safety of your guides and the angels and all of this angelic protection, because the feminine really needs to create this safe space right now. That's really going to be helpful as the masculine goes through this recalibration at this time. And so I know the energy is feeling like woo-woo-y, like I'm really not here, a little bit of disassociation going on, like you're really not here. And so staying grounded will allow us to not get completely knocked out in these energies, because there's a lot of fear-based trauma coming up collectively. And a lot of the divine feminines agreed to help transmute that disconnect. And so I do feel many of us are feeling very much disconnected at this time. And so as we go through this releasing of these lower vibrations, we have to kind of realign, and this can bring forward all kinds of dramatic upheaval. And so I do feel Spirit is saying it's okay to be confused. It's okay to be confused, because when we're confused, then we're being called to go within and do this inner work. So I feel, you know, this is not a new moon for setting intentions or manifesting. This is a new moon for allowing things to kind of play out and to work in your favor and to just understand the why, because so many people hold on to these lower cycles because the devil we know is better than the devil we don't know, right? And so we hold on out of fear because sometimes we feel safer in these lower cycles, even though they're really not serving us, right? The comfort zone is our safety zone. But our comfort zone is not where we grow. It's not where we expand. And so right now I feel the masculine is struggling. The ego is being threatened, right? And so that's a big part of this transformation process. The ego gets threatened. We become extra touchy and reactive with our emotions because the ego constructs this false sense of security. And when the ego feels threatened, the ego wants to lash out, right? Because the ego wants to control. And so I feel a lot of lashing out this week in the energies, because this is just showing us our old human self, our old limiting beliefs, and we kind of got to get rattled like the snake, a rattlesnake. And so it is very scary to release everything you thought you knew about yourself and to bring this into our awareness so we can reach these higher states of unity, these higher perspectives. And so I do feel we want to be with ourselves as much as possible throughout the week. This is not going to be an easy process, especially for those going through a Taurus North Node, South Node activation, or reverse activation if you have a Scorpio North Node, Taurus South Node. Any of the fixed signs are really going to be in the thick of it this week, so you're really going to want to pay attention to where Leo and Aquarius fall in your natal chart and where Taurus and Scorpio fall. So the dragon's head and tail, the second and the eighth house. The second house naturally is ruled by Taurus, which is our self-worth, our self-value. So many people place the material world as, you know, how they base their self-worth and their self-value. So I feel there's going to be financial shakeups when it comes to the second house in Taurus. The eighth house in Scorpio is asking us to go deep, to transform. And so Taurus is tangible, Scorpio is intangible. Both energies basing their worth on owning something, and we can never ever own another person. I just want to say that, okay? And so the ego is deeply being threatened, and you are going to want to pay attention to where Leo or Aquarius falls in your housing side. For me, my Leo is my North Node, and my South Node is Aquarius, and so my South Node also falls in the 12th house where I bury the past. And like I mentioned earlier, my North Node in the 6th house as well, with my Mars and Leo in the 6th house. And so all of these energies are working together. And so many of the feminines have already been awakened, right? We've been on the journey for several years. And then there are layers to this awakening. It's like peeling back the onion, right? And usually every lunar cycle, there's another deeper layer of understanding, another layer of ascension, illumination, and realignment, so we can fully anchor into our eternal spiritual self in this human existence. And so when the feminine reaches these higher states, the feminine is the healer of this connection. And so when the feminine harmonizes, by default, the masculine gets activated into his higher blueprint and this spiritual bond where really the only truth is love is the only truth, right? Love is the only true existential truth. And so our intuition, I feel, is bringing us into a period of showing us what we really need to release, what elements, patterns, habits, what dynamics, what false identities are we needing to release. Because until we do this, we're going to keep getting upset and triggered through all of these karmic experiences and karmic dynamics and situationships. And all of this brings us back to that original childhood wound, pretty much, right? Getting to the core childhood wound, getting to the root of what needs to be released willingly. And so be ready to open up, right? We're here to figure out who we truly are. We all have this within us. And so I feel we're getting prepared to step into greatness, right? To step into our true spiritual power and to go beyond the 3D constraints, limitations, and restrictions that we've been challenged with on the awakening journey. And so be ready to be shown that everything you were taught in this human existence was a lie. But this will allow you to open up to your inner light, to your inner power, and to be who you truly are meant to be at these higher consciousness levels. And so I feel a lot of twin flame connections being activated over the coming week. And I feel accelerated ascension. I want to call it the quickening, although I've called it the fuckening in the past. But we're moving forward at accelerated speeds, I feel. And the masculine twin is definitely feeling the effects this week. So this eclipse is awakening the unawakened twin, the runner twin this week. And so with this eclipse forming a trine to Mars right before Mars goes retrograde, the day before the Day of the Dead, when the veil is the thinnest, I feel this unawakened counterpart is in for a major wake-up call, and the feminine's energy is supporting this transformation. So the feminine really needs to step into her greatest self in order for the masculine to enter into his own transformation process. And so major recalibration. We're entering into the spiritual realms, and you know, it's the energy of believing as seeing, not seeing as believing. And so releasing all of these human perceptions that aren't working. And so the masks that we wear, a lot of these masculines have constructed this Very, very stern ego identity, right? And they're being rattled to the very core. And so sudden awakenings, the mask being ripped off. I think a lot of these masculines have been convincing themselves that this is it, right? And so as the feminine subtly disconnects and allows all of these light codes to integrate, the more the masculine is pushed into the remembrance, pushed into showing up for the divine feminine. And so I do feel the masculines are in for a week of major upsets, major shifts, and heading into a long dark winter of the dark night of the soul over the coming months. And so I feel by the time Mars goes direct next spring, we're going to be on much different timeline planes is what I'm feeling. And so this recalibration that's taking place is opening up both of the twins to this equilibrium. But the barriers to love need to be removed, and the karmic contracts have to be completely over. And so when we enter into the awakening journey, we can't just live our life, our day-to-day life as normal. Nothing is normal anymore after this awakening. And so it's about the acceptance and working with the cosmic energies as part of this transformation process. And so I will tag a video at the end. I did do a video about Mars retrograde a while back. I will take a video at the end. If you didn't check it out, go check it out. But I just want to offer a little bit of tips when it comes to the Mars retrograde energy, journaling about anything, any phrases, any visions, anything that pops up in dream state, journal about it. Might not make sense in the moment, but it will make sense if you go back to it later. Journaling. Always take the time to go within and clear your energy every single day. That will help you raise your vibration when it comes to the collective undercurrent of the dark night of the soul. And we can always interact with our counterpart in the spiritual planes. And that is where we will find the guidance from the counterpart and this unconditional love that we do share together. And so this is going to be a very triggering and challenging time for many. I feel the feminines are already on the other side. And so the masculines are in for a week of going beyond the 3D. I think the energies are taking them deep into the darkness. And they are feeling very confused, very unsettled. And it's almost like this energy of, oh my God, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And so the feminine is the reminder like, hey, you've got it. I've done this before. I did this before you, right? And so I do feel this recognition of the soul connection, of the bond that we share. And it doesn't matter what's going on in the physical reality. I feel we need to believe in ourselves. Our dreams are never out of reach. And so where do you need to release that feeling of not being enough? And that might be a message for the feminine too, because the universe infinitely loves us. The universe is saying we are worthy. We truly are worthy. We always were. But we have to believe that in order for to like magnetically draw in that right, perfect, aligned partner. So we're going to jump in with the cards today, guys. I am going to use the Seasons of the Witch Mind deck because we are like a week away from Halloween, All Hallows Eve. We are a week away from All Hallows Eve, which will be the day that Mars goes retrograde. And so there is this deep inner stirring. I feel a lot of the masculines are having a hard time sleeping at night because of the hauntings of spirit in the mind space. And so this unforgiveness, I feel, is being illuminated as well for the masculine twin. And there's those voices, right? I got guns in my head and they won't stop. Spirits in my head. And it won't stop. So this tugging feeling in their gut is gently nudging the masculine towards this new romantic cycle. And so they are being guided by spirit. What I just heard is make it stop. So I do feel some clairaudiency gifts have been activated for many of the masculines, or will be as we get closer to the Day of the Dead. So we're going to get 3 cards and see what needs to come through for the week ahead for the twins. But I do feel a lot of the heavy shadow aspects are really triggering the masculine counterpart at this time. So intuition, look at that, third eye energy. The all-seeing eye, and so we always hold the answers from within, first and foremost. So I do feel the masculine knows the truth. The doors behind the mind have been opened, and I do feel a lot of ancient memories have been restored. So the masculine is aware of the truth. The owl energy, I know a lot of us resonate with the owl. Actually, I got a new little owl crystal in with my last order. I'm not sure. I think it might be calcite. Cute little owl. I've always been drawn to the owls. And so there's a lot of ancient spiritual protection. There's a spirit guide, an owl, a grandmother I'm feeling on the other side. Really watching over either a mother or a grandmother, really watching over the masculine as he goes into the darkest places of the abyss. And he opens up his third eye, and then we get the All Hallows Eve again. So I do feel Halloween is really stirring up these energies in order for us to make groundwork, and then we get the cauldron. So I do feel a lot of the masculines were bewitched. They were under a spell, and something is brewing below the surface when it comes to this death and this rebirth energy. So it is the stirring of the cosmic shit pot, right? And so I do feel something's brewing when it comes to this death energy, and it's going to be blissfully painful, this rebirth process. So I do feel a lot of the masculines are piercing the veil and connecting with some crossed over ancestors, getting deep into the roots, getting naked within the shadow of themselves and the vows that they made when it comes to these connections. Remember, we agreed to this, right? And so I do feel the feminine is encouraged to work with crystals at this time as the masculine's shit pot kind of gets stirred all about. So I haven't used the archetype deck in a while, so we're going to pull in with the archetype deck, bottom of the deck, the eternal child. And so a lot of these masculines have not wanted to grow up. They've not been willing to take responsibility. They've been in these extremely codependent situations, dependent on another for physical and emotional and maybe even financial security. And I feel finding their determination to see things in this new light. A lot of these masculines have hoarded their money and their emotions, and they've got this obsessive fear of losing it all, which is likely going to manifest in order for the masculine to maybe step into an entrepreneurial creative journey with the feminine. And so the hermit goes within. I feel a lot of the masculines have a lot of negative fears coming up, fear of judgment of others, fears of their social group or their family group. And they've really refused to step up when it comes to their service-based mission. And so seeking solitude. So we're going to do 3 cards for the masculine. And we will do 3 cards for the feminine. We're going to kind of split it up a bit. And then we're going to go into the Senses of the Soul Oracle deck. And we'll do the same. So we will dig into the Divine Masculine first for the week ahead. So what I just noticed was 591. And then we get the 10. So closing of a cycle. There is a rebirth when it comes to these foundations. There's massive change kind of taking place right now as the masculine completes the cycle for that new beginning. So we're going to do 3 cards for the masculine, guys. I'm going to try and keep it as short and sweet as I can this week. No guarantees. So for the masculine, we get the goddess, the poet, and the teacher. So I feel right now the feminine's energy is all around the masculine, and he's coming to this deep realization of how he exploited the divine feminine's nature and her natural form. And I feel the feminine really is illuminating this. I feel the masculine is looking at the feminine as this teacher, as this poet, right? And really wishing he could express himself like the feminine does. And so I feel there's a lot of negative, destructive effects taking place in the masculine's world this week because of his abuse and manipulation. And so all of these negative traits, these destructive traits are coming up to be addressed when it comes to the exploitation of, siphoning the feminine's energy. And so I feel learning to express themselves. I also feel a lot of the masculines are deep within a mother wound, right? The feminine represents the unconditional love of the mother, which a lot of these masculines did not receive that from their own mother. And so I do feel some type of communication is coming up. It's like this a life force energy coming through when it comes to expressing our spiritual wisdom. And I feel a lot of destruction around the masculine as he is being catapulted towards his teaching abilities and his ability to communicate his spiritual knowledge and his life experience and skills and wisdom with the feminine. And so definitely the feminine's energy is around the masculine. And so on the feminine side, we get the detective today with the shapeshifter and the guide. I really like this energy coming through today, Divine Feminine. And so right now, I feel the feminine's digging deeper. So this might be a time for research, Divine Feminine coursework, expanding on your gifts. I feel all of this falsified information about you is going to be exposed. And so just step into your great powers of observation and intuition this week, Divine Feminine. I think the truth will be exposed. And right now, it's like you're just being asked to navigate through all of these different levels of consciousness with the counterpart, because you actually have that ability to see everything beyond the veil. And so I also feel you might be dealing with people projecting their self-worth issues on you this week, Divine Feminine. And this is all stemming around a negative personal agenda. And so release people that aren't serving you at this time. But I feel the feminine really is stepping into being that guide or that lighthouse, right? And so the feminine is here shining the light. And we shine that light. We don't go chasing down people. We shine that light and we attract what we need, right? And so I feel this is a week representative for the feminine embracing the divine in her life and in herself, which very well could bring in some new financial gains. And then the combined energy on the bottom of the deck, we get the hedonist. And so there was that sexual, primal energy that I felt. And so we cannot keep pursuing earthly pleasures to the detriment, right? And then they become addictions and it affects our health negatively. Any indulgent behaviors at the expense of others, I feel, are being exposed on both sides. And so the sexual energy, there might be a deep sexual connection coming through this week, and this is going to inspire some new creative energy. So I think we are on the precipice of celebrating and avenging all of these unhealthy imbalanced relationship patterns with the Avenger. So the universe is seeking and desiring the balancing of the scales. And so we've just closed out Libra season, right? And so now we have to go into the depths of the shadow self of understanding what's not balanced. And so I do feel there very well could be some violent outbursts this week when it comes to breaking free from peer pressure, society standards. And so it is this challenging energy for sure that will affect positive social change, but not without some upheaval. And so we cannot keep rejecting our spiritual nature, our spiritual systems. We're going through these activations in order to release serving our inner needs. And so there's likely going to be some type of abandonment wounds coming up this week to be addressed. I feel a lot of the masculines are feeling abandoned, and they've really come to this conclusion of that karmic contract has stifled their adult maturation, and so they've been seeking these inappropriate surrogate families and mothers and learning to let that go, stepping into independence. And so it is about conquering those survival fears. And I do feel all those that have ulterior motives or hidden agendas will likely be exposed in the energies this week, which could lead to an argument. So let's jump in with some oh yeah, the senses of the soul. I'm like very scattered. See, I'm not really quite sure what the heck I'm doing. So I am worthy and deserving of good things. Release that fear, right? That base chakra fear. And I think release any insecurity issues. It's time to embrace our authentic power. So we get root chakra, solar plexus. So release guilt, shame, fears around survival. There's definitely a huge throat chakra clearing taking place. I know my oldest daughter that's not been feeling well, she cleared all kinds of blockages from her throat last night. And so I've been feeling like this congestion in the throat a little bit. No, I'm not sick. And so there's like all of this gunked up energy of needing to say something. And so get ready to go AWOL with your throat chakra if you've not been speaking your truth. So on the masculine side, he needs to come to this conclusion that he is worthy and deserving of good things, and he is exactly where he needs to be right now. And I feel he's working on releasing the past and trusting in his inner knowing. He's going to have to feel that fear and do it anyway. So there's self-worth issues for sure coming up for the divine masculine today, and closing out these cycles of not knowing his worth and value. And so with the ginger energy, the solar plexus, so we've got sacral, solar, and root chakra. And that's so interesting. I did do a personal reading for a twin flame couple, well, for the divine feminine on the weekend, and I'll never mention names, but that was a message that came through during that reading, is her masculine was operating out of the lower chakras. And so the block is the heart, right? The heart is the central chakra out of the 7 main chakras. We have many more chakras beyond the 7, but... And so all of this fear-based lower energy is in the lower chakras. And so there's fear, right? And so the masculine, I think, is being asked to feel the fear and do it anyway and bring forward an offer and to release any past emotional baggage. The sacral is where we hold all of this emotional baggage, the mother wound, any emotional baggage. And so there's fear about not feeling worthy, right? And I feel, the masculine's made a wish. And he's going to have to find his strength and his bravery to go towards that wish. He's going to have to feel that fear and do it anyway. And to trust in the inner knowing that it's time to move forward and release the past. So let's dig into the feminine's energy and see. I trust and embrace the spiritual blueprint of my life. So 14 is karmic freedom, freedom from these past cycles. And so a little bit of a mirroring energy. We've got some sacral chakra energy coming up, and then we get the heart for the feminine. I forgive and I am set free. So the feminine is definitely closing out a big time cycle, 29. Forgiveness, and it is safe to heal. And so a lot of lower chakra, and then we get the upper chakra for the feminine, the worm word. Opening up a can of worms is what I heard. So divine feminine, get ready to release what no longer serves you, to finally achieve and find that harmony from within and combined. Beautiful. This is crown chakra, and so I move forward with spiritual clarity. I release compulsions that keep me from my divine identity, and I release fear so I can experience unconditional love in my life. Get ready to be free to harness the light that you were always meant to harness. And so I am going to read the book for the masculine. It is a 2, so it is crossroads energy. It is decision time for the divine masculine. He is needing to feel that fear and do it anyway. So let's read into that. So I think divine masculine, ask yourself, where are you not stepping into your power? How is fear holding you back? Release any emotions that might be obstructing you. Breathe, dance, sing, put your hands on the earth. Ground the energy, anything that will help you ground and align your energy with Mother Gaia. So I do feel you are being invited to work through this transformational process. Where do you need to release survival energy, survival fear? Because you are being asked to connect to your spiritual roots. Divine masculine. So what is it that you need to release when it comes to fear? You've not created a strong foundation, and wherever you've been at, it is not sustainable. You are being asked to move out of the fear and to step into your power and your purpose. So big message for the divine masculine. And so divine feminine, I am going to read the heart energy for you. And I'm also going to read into wormwood. I don't know. Anyway, so 29s. I'm reading the 29 because 29 does break down to a master number. And so the heart energy. And so a lot of the feminines, I feel, are being encouraged to embrace and embody forgiveness. The feminine does hold the blueprint for this life lesson. And so when we learn the lessons of the past and we integrate those lessons, divine feminine, into the present moment, we must also forgive ourselves. It's not just about forgiving another so that we can move on. We also have to forgive ourselves. And so a huge releasing of all of these past hurts and regrets so that we can move forward into our highest purpose, living from that heart center. And so I do feel there might be a person that will be coming forward in need of forgiveness in the coming week. You're going to want to envelope yourself in that light. But I do feel forgiveness. Until you fully feel the past and integrate it into the present, you cannot consolidate this love in your heart, divine feminine. And so concluding a cycle, you can say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And that's Ho'oponopono, forgiveness prayer. So you might want to work with that. And then we are going to read into the wormwood energy. And that's what I keep hearing is a can of worms. A can of worms is about to be opened. And this is the card, I believe, right before the High Priestess. So I do feel that this is the 7th chakra coming forward. And so, oh my God, I can't even find it in the book. It is the 7th chakra. And so a huge purification and releasing of these unhealthy patterns. And so I do feel the feminine is being asked to pay attention to your energy field this week. Where are you still carrying these heavy emotions when it comes to these unconscious, outdated belief patterns? Where are you actually creating disharmony and lowering your vibration? And so maybe you're picking up some energetic parasites. That was another message. I've been strongly urged to do a parasite cleanse. I've already started, I did a detox cleanse last week, and now my guides are pushing for a parasite cleanse. And so we sometimes unintentionally pick up energetic parasites from other people, spiritual entities. And so they deplete our energy. And so dissolving any destructive attachments, restoring our energy, and maybe doing a cleanse in order to restore our energy levels and reserves. But I feel a lot of the feminines are getting grounded in their own energy this week. And so we're balancing the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. We're experiencing greater clarity and this new light sense of being. And so protect what it is that you've built. Clear these unwanted energies and any energetic patterns or parasites. You might want to smudge and cleanse your aura and your home environment daily this week as we go through these challenging energies, and set that intention to release what is no longer serving you. We're going to jump in with the tarot now, guys. I'm just trying to figure out what decks I want to use. We're just going to use the classic tarot, Barbara Moore deck. So I do feel the masculine's been grieving over this missed opportunity for wish fulfillment. Wow, all cups on the bottom of the deck. Wow. The 5 of Cups is, guilt, shame, an extended period of grieving, loneliness over the spilled cups and the missed opportunity. And then we get the 9 of Cups, which is kind of the energy of overindulging and walking away. Walking away from the grief, the pain, the overindulging, really preparing to walk the spiritual path, leaving behind a very dissatisfying situation. And there's that awakening, that judgment call, right? It's a major wake-up call for the masculine this week. Going through a period of soul retrieval is what I'm feeling. And it's been long overdue, right? So they've been in denial of the fact that they've been watering a dead tree, living in an illusion, living in a lie. And I feel finding their strength to take down that tower of false beliefs, right? Major wake-up call, unexpected upheaval, and the masculines avoided this up until now. and they're not going to be able to avoid the shake-up coming forward this week. So I think we're just going to do something a little bit different here. We're going to see. I'm just going to go with what my guides want me to do today. So we're going to dig into the masculine's energy for the week ahead, what we can expect. So the Queen of Swords in reversed, the Page of Swords in reversed, and the challenge is the Nine of Pentacles. So they're definitely still dealing with a very bitter, vengeful ex. And then we get the Hermit reversed, the Five of Pentacles reversed, the Six of Cups reversed, bottom of the deck, the Four of Wands. Wow. So I think the challenge for the masculine this week is he's dealing with somebody very bitter, very revengeful, wanting to lash out and hurt the masculine. And all of this is due to the karmic sphere of being alone. So we've got somebody that's a liar here, very mean, harsh with their communication. And I do feel there's going to be upheaval. This is going to get the masculine to push out of that stagnancy. We've got somebody here very codependent on the masculine, and I do feel gaslighting, belittling, putting the masculine down, trying to instill fear, just nasty, nasty communication, destructive, negative communication here. And the challenge is, I feel, releasing a codependent situation for the masculine this week. But ultimately, he will be coming out of hiding. I feel the Hermit reversed, the Five of Pentacles reversed, and closing out that contract. There's no more love left there. So I feel a flipping of the scales. And so there's that abandonment wound, releasing the fear about coming in. And I do feel this will lead to a beautiful beginning of laying a solid foundation of unity consciousness. But there is going to be a need to release a temporary situation. There's going to be exposure, gossip, drama surrounding the third-party interference. And I do feel that's going to be a challenge for the masculine this week. To shed the old, to bring in the new, he's going to have to release a foundation that was purely built out of financial security. So a challenge for the masculine might be total financial ruin. But you know what? It's going to bring forward a lot of truth. Getting to the truth of the situation and a lot of illumination in order for things to move forward very quickly. And so I do feel the masculine is dealing with a very challenging situation this week with karmic feminine energy. Now that your masculine could be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or Virgo. But I do feel your counterpart is all done thinking about this. He sees clearly now this is a very codependent person that is a master manipulator, and I'm all done in this lack mentality, and this might lead to an abandonment of that connection. So let's dig into the divine feminine's energy, and we're going to use the, oh my gosh, the Gilded Tarot. So we'll see the main energies coming through for the feminine for the week ahead. The challenge for the masculine is coming out from the cold is what I'm feeling. So let's see what needs to come through for the divine feminine. We get the Strength, the Queen of Cups in reversed, and the challenge is the Nine of Cups. We also get the Justice in reversed, the Sun in reversed, and the Seven of Swords. I'm going to pull one more there, Chariot, moving on. Headed straight towards victory after Sorrow, divine feminine. Victory is yours for the taking. And so I do feel the challenge this week is releasing all of these pent-up emotions. So you're going to need to find your strength to maybe go through a heart chakra purge, right? Releasing and forgiving. It is safe for you to heal. I also feel the feminine might need some strength having to deal with an emotionally manipulative karmic. Remember, I talked about that frenemy, a friend that's really not on your side. You could be dealing with an emotional manipulator. But what I do feel is harnessing the strength to maybe embrace an emotional breakdown and a release. And I do feel like wishes are being granted. All hail the divine feminine. And so all done grieving over the past third-party interference and embracing self-love. And so I feel with the Venus, scorpionic energy, it is also an understanding of what no longer emotionally serves the divine feminine. I feel what was unjust will be made right. When the justice comes out in reversed, I feel the imbalances are being rectified. When it comes to the dark night of the soul, a lot of the feminines went through the dark night of the soul first, and we had to sit in this drudgery of betrayal. A lot of the masculine stole, cheated, snuck away, lied, manipulated. And a lot of the feminines spent, you know, the last several years in the darkness, in this very unjust situation. And 2 cards of victory. Cancer. We have Cancer and Leo. Cancer, Leo, and Libra, along with water. And so victory. Gathering your emotions, integrating the lessons, getting in the driver's seat and going in a new direction. And where are you going straight towards? Victory. And I feel victory over, you know, that Knight of Wands, player energy. No more players. We're manifesting solid, committed partnerships, right? We're manifesting somebody real. And the feminine is going right into a brand new beginning. Releasing the past baggage. The Fool takes nothing with them. And so, and we're going right towards a divine union and taking those guided action steps, right? And so the Chariot too, only an emperor or an empress rides in the Chariot. So I feel the feminine really owning her divine power and releasing the past. So let's get a couple last messages. Actually, no, we're going to use the Rose Oracle. We're going to close off the reading with the Rose Oracle message for the twins for the week ahead. There we go. The Holy Grail. And so I think there's a lot of unseen spiritual help coming forward this week. The Holy Grail. Isn't that what we all want? And so the Holy Grail too is always within us. It's within our heart. And so we can't have that Holy Grail love until we stop the endless searching. Because it's really not an outer journey. It is an inner quest. And so I'm going to read out of the book for that. And we're going to call it a day, guys. So the Holy Grail. Isn't that what we all want, right? That Holy Grail love. I do feel there will be a return. Look at that. The Holy Grail is on page 88. And so this is all been happening since that 8-8 Lionsgate portal. And so we have to stop the endless searching. How can you go within and focus more on what really matters this week? The Holy Grail is the ultimate spiritual quest. It goes all the way back to Arthurian timelines. King Arthur, the Knights Templars, all stemming around that. And so it is the ultimate spiritual quest. There are many places we can quest to and journey to and conquer, but the ultimate is to find that Holy Grail, to go inward, to go within. And so when we connect with the grace of love within us, we don't have to search for it outside of ourselves. And so this is about drinking from the eternal well of the love that we hold within, the love of the cosmic universe. And so this love can never, ever be extinguished. And so the rose is the symbol of the Holy Grail, the sisterhood of the rose. And so we are being called to spiral inward, to know that everything we've been searching for and patiently waiting for will return to us when we return to ourselves. The Holy Grail predates Christ, predates Celtic mythology. It is this buried chalice of, love. It is linked to the crucifixion of Christ. It is through God only that we can achieve this Holy Grail energy. And so get ready to stop the endless searching, because what you are searching for is searching for you too. But you need to pause and you need to go within and you need to stop the endless searching. And so get ready to discover what it is your heart truly wants to devote to. We can never possess another. We never possess anything. And so I do feel the legend of King Arthur and maybe the knight of Sir Galahad that achieved this vision is all coming forward in the energies this week. That's so interesting. And so get ready for the ultimate spiritual quest. They want me to mention Glastonbury in the UK. That might mean something for somebody, but I feel we all travel all corners of the world trying to drink from these healing Holy Grail waters, and we do have this within. And that's kind of what I got, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a twin soul reading with me, I do encourage you to check out the description box below. And I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.